welcome to Settled on the Field. How we doing tonight, Jeb and Liz?
Rocking and rolling. How are you doing?
I'm doing
All is
good.
well here. High school sports are rolling into the spring. Liz's son had a great track meet we'll have to ask her about. My son played some golf today.
It's a
But
beautiful day for some spring sports for sure.
Couldn't have beat today's weather, but before we get too far into that, let's introduce our special guest today. We've got Nick Munson joining us. Nick is a Ball State football player. He plays wide receiver. I think they got him in the slot. He's a kickoff returner, punt returner. Nick comes from Avia, Indiana, Old East Noble High School. He's a sophomore majoring in exercise science. Just so you all know, we met through what they call the Ball State True Cardinal Mentor Program. I'm his mentor, he's my mentee. He's out there dominating every day, so I'm just trying to keep up with him. Nick, I think they matched us up pretty well. We're both walk-on warriors here battling through the day. So hello to you. How are you doing?
For sure. I'm doing good. Me and Bill, like he said, man, we matched very well. And, our walk-on experiences are pretty awesome to share with each other because, it's super relatable. And I feel like me and Bill just connect very well. And, it's been a blessing. It's been a fun time so far. And I'm excited to see what the future holds.
So I have to say, good job for signing up for that. Did they make you sign up for that, or you took the initiative to sign up for that?
It was a little bit of both. They reached out to some of us players and were like, hey, there's this cool opportunity. We had to kind of take initiative and take the next steps into it. And then they connected us together, and it was pretty cool. They made a whole PowerPoint and stuff out of it, and they matched us, and it was a really cool experience. But it was a little bit of both.
And the next thing you know, you're on a podcast.
You're getting it done, unsettled on the field.
Yeah.
Man.
That's awesome.
So, Nick, you're a walk-on like Bill, but tell us about your number change.
Yeah, so started my career with 84 here at Ball State, and thought it was a cool number. But after my first year, I was given the opportunity to switch my number, and I was thinking 0 would be pretty cool just because of what it represents for us walk-ons. I didn't have many opportunities, so I kind of thought of it as 0 offers, 0 opportunity, just kind of like a chip on my shoulder that I wear, and being able to represent that with the jersey is a pretty special thing. And, I feel like it represents more than just me. It represents kind of just all the walk-ons and, our experience with having to be the underdogs and, prove not only to ourselves that, we're able to play at this level, but to the others.
Oh, I like that. That's a good story.
That's awesome. I had this later on that I was going to ask you, but where can I get a number 0 Ball State football uniform? I need to go to the bookstore or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
Get it ordered.
You guys have an NIL store that people can order your shirt from?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find it. There's a link, and it's got all our jerseys and stuff, and you're able to support our play. So, pretty cool gig.
Yeah, we're going to support you.
Appreciate y'all. You're awesome.
So are you going to be in the game? Are you in the game?
I hope so. We'll see. They are doing there's a specific amount of people on a roster, but I'm excited, and I'm pretty sure I'll be in the game for the new upcoming college football game.
Man, you know what I should have had ready is my Charles Woodson EA Sports 1998 version. Old number 39
awesome.
39 had to come off the bench, boy. Record slow.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Bill and all his football buddies would be playing that game all the time. I'm sure nothing's changed, but
yeah,
back then their names weren't on there, so now it's even better.
Hey, I'm in agreement with number 0 for Ball State.
Hey, we'll see, man. I'll probably do the same thing too.
You know it.
Oh, you will. You will.
Why not? Absolutely, why not?
So, Liz, tell us about your son's track meet.
Yeah, so I just got home from the track meet. His team won their conference titles. That's awesome because it was, well, at least in my mind, it was unexpected. I mean, I guess I didn't know, but it was a real tight race. Isaiah PR'd in the 100 and the 200. So I know he's going to be super hype. He finally broke that 11 seconds. So he ran a 10.95 in the 100. So he's really hype about that. And
dipping.
and I ran remember it was
22.29.
22.29 in the 200. So yeah, he was dipping tonight. I always talk about in track is crazy in Indiana because it's so cold for the first like half of the season. It's cold. You tend to run slower when it's cold. And then right about now, right when sectionals and regionals start, everybody's numbers start like really dropping, which is nice. So it was awesome. It was great.
That's awesome. Nick,
Congrats.
did you play any other sports besides football in high
Yeah,
school?
I ran a little track in high school. I didn't end up running my senior year because I was then focusing on training for just college. But yeah, I ran some track, and then I'm a big soccer fan too. I did soccer growing up. But yeah.
Nice.
What do you think about the Indy 11 getting ousted in Indy? Are you familiar with the
Yeah.
problem we have?
Well, I'm not sure about the problem, but I'm familiar with Indy 11. I know there's a lot of things going on right now. Them trying to make a push for the MLS and whatnot,
Right.
but I'm not sure what type of stuff's going on.
Well,
in depth.
our mayor is just like, we've got this whole huge Indy 11 park. It's being built. They've invested all this money, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Well, we're gonna bring in an MLS team." And Indy 11's like, "Well, we just invested all this money." It's a little,
We'll
it's a little
see.
crazy. We'll
Crazy,
see.
yeah.
We don't know about that guy. Sometimes he's a little.
So,
Go for it,
Nick,
Jay.
I do a rule of the day segment, so we're gonna bust out some football rules and see test your knowledge.
He's on the spot.
So actually, my first question. So you do some punt returning, kickoff returns.
Yeah.
How in depth do they go in the rules as far as like, do you have a meeting about the various fair catch rules or?
Yeah. So before every game, while we're warming up, refs will come and they'll try to find where the returners will be, and there'll be like 2 or 3 returners, and they'll just pull us aside, and for like 4 or 5 minutes, they'll just talk to us about like, what they want to see, what they don't, what they'll call a dead ball and whatnot. So it's just us communicating with them too on how we're going to do it, because a lot of the stuff they could say, you got to make sure like your hands connected to your helmet when you're looking in the sun, or else we're gonna call that a fair catch. So there's a lot of different stuff you got to
Get it high enough.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And don't just do one of these because we might not see it. All that.
Yeah.
You got to keep your hand up. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So we had on Brian Neal. He's a NFL umpire, but he actually did the Super Bowl. But anyway, he told us he does a lot. Officials come to a lot of your either spring practices or even in the fall they come. And he said a tip for college football players in general would be when those guys are there, go pick their brain, ask them questions. What can I do what can I get away with, like when I'm leaving the line of scrimmage on a route? How much pushing can I do?
Mm-hmm.
So he said one of the things he would recommend to players is go talk to those officials while they're there. Shows you care. Your coach might think it's a good thing too. So that was his tip to athletes.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Especially we'll get some of those guys coming around during fall camp and stuff too, and that'll be a good time to really just experiment, like with like what I can get away with, what I can't.
Exactly. All right. So if you signal for a fair catch and you muff the ball and then you still catch it, can you be hit?
Nah, it's
No?
so like you get another chance to catch it. So say I'm muffing, I bobble it. I'm not allowed to get hit till it hits the ground. Once it hits the ground, it's game. But I get an unrestricted chance to catch it again.
Very good. How about if you are going to catch a ball and a guy's within 1 yard of you, but he's on the side of you and he doesn't restrict you from catching the ball. So he's within your 1 yard halo, but he's not in front of you. He's on the side. Is that interference?
I'm not sure. I mean, really, it's any sort of contact. If he makes any sort of restriction, I'm guessing I'll be able to get away with some stuff. Say I do want to make a move into him and get away with something. For the main part, if like people really could get again within that 1 yard halo as long as really they don't interfere with my ability to catch the ball. I don't think I can. It's not interference.
2 for 2, my man.
It's 2 for 2. Hey, Jeb, let me jump in here real quick. This dude, I watched him at the spring game. He's fearless going after the punts with the defenders coming down the line. But you're asking the question to the the punt return, the guy catching the ball, fielding the ball. You need to ask these questions to the defenders running down the field who are about to take his head off, because if they don't know the rule, it's not going to matter.
Right.
That's true.
Very true.
The gunners.
But maybe he'll get he knows if he makes contact with him on the guy on the side, then it's interference and they get 15 yards.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
All right, last one. So you're standing on the 30-yard line, your own 30-yard line, and the kick's short, so it's going to land at about the 40. So you're running up to it, and there's a defender between you and there, and you go around him to catch the ball and then catch the ball. But he forced you to go around him. Would that be interference?
See, I've never heard of this situation before, so
We'll come up with some crazy situations.
We should ask him that 1-point rule.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
So you're basically the guy's between you and the ball, so you have to detour around him to get to it. Maybe it caught up in the wind or is just really high and short.
I'd say that's probably an interference.
Yep, 15 yards from where you catch it. So he's got to clear his way, so you have 100% freedom to go for it.
Awesome, yeah.
3 for 3, my man. That's pretty good.
Well, that's a good question. You got me thinking.
Strong academic game.
Hey, so we'll ask the question the NFL ref Brian Neal gave us. How does a team score 1 point?
A drop kick, right? You drop it on the turf and you kick it.
I guess I'm sorry. It should be a defensive team score 1 point.
Defensive team.
How can the defense score 1 point?
I'm not sure.
Way. There's no way he knows this one.
So
here's a hint.
it would be a safety
Okay.
on an extra point.
Okay.
So if somehow you get a safety on an extra point, maybe they had so many
They
penalties.
run backwards or something to run out the clock and get a safety. It's 1 point.
Oh.
Never heard of that one.
That would be a great way to win the game. Can you imagine? So I'm just curious, what do you think about this new rule for the NFL, the new kickoff rule? What do you think?
I think there's been a lot of progressive stuff by the NFL to, make the league safer and, just make it a better experience for those people in there. But I think there's also some key fundamental things like you just can't change about the game that really takes away from the game. And I don't know, personally as a returner, and like I did some kickoff stuff too, it's like it doesn't feel right. So I'm hoping, they kind of figure it out and maybe say, all right, it was better the way we had it. So I feel like still like kickoff, return, like that's a key fundamental part of the game that, to change it is a big deal. And I don't know if that's quite the right move towards, maybe the safety stuff they're going for.
It's going to be very interesting to see for the first couple times.
I mean, I agree wholeheartedly with what you said, Nick. It is the game. It's part of the game. If you take it out, now we're playing something different almost. I know there's just two short plays that most people, you watch the kick and it goes out of bounds, and then you got to have a commercial break, and then they start at the 20 or 25 or 50, whatever they decide you get the ball at these years. But without having that opportunity, and then the other thing is the onside has to be announced. The whole point is it's a surprise. I mean, for 97% of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why does it have to be announced? Like, because I would think that the onside is safer since they are so much closer.
Because think of what they just changed it to. The defenders get to start way down the field, so they can't do that if it's an onside. Yeah. Anyways, we shall see. Might as well just go to commercial break.
Go to commercial.
Let me know they're starting at the 25. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you might as well just start at the 25 and call it a day.
Hey, they're afraid to let number 0 catch that ball and go.
Embarrassed.
That's right.
All right, well, let's
Well,
send it over to Liz. Beyond the Bench segment about some recruiting.
yeah, so I'm curious. You kind of mentioned that you didn't have any offers. So what did you do when you were thinking about playing football in college? Did you go to a lot of camps? Did you do all of that type of stuff, or what was your process when you were thinking about if you wanted to play after high school?
Mm-hmm. So really the biggest thing was I made a decision right after like my 8th grade year going into my freshman year, and I was like, I kind of want to take this like high school football, college football thing seriously. So started going to Fort Wayne, training with like a sports performance trainer and then like a skill trainer too. Traction AP was the name, or it was AWP back then, but it's Traction AP now. And I've worked with a guy for 5 years now. His name's Dre. And, I mean, he's awesome. He's produced a ton of talent out of the Fort Wayne area and Indiana area, and like what he's done just developing me as a player and a human like has gone a ton. So I think that was a huge step, was really committing and saying like I got to do a lot of stuff on my own time. Like I'd be waking up at 5 in the morning my senior year and drive down to Fort Wayne before school just so I could get some work in. And
Wow, yeah, that's
even
Yeah. That's hockey player commitment right there.
and then yeah, especially with recruitment, like I was the one DMing coaches, shooting out emails. I had a list of camps I'd go to, and for me, it was just getting an opportunity to be in front of them because, like, I didn't have numbers that stood out. Like, I wasn't running a crazy fast 40. I wasn't jumping super high, lifting a lot of weight. But when it came down to playing football, like, I knew that's what I was able to do. So just getting those opportunities, stacking good camps and making connections led from one thing to another, and eventually preferred walk-on spot at Ball State.
awesome. Yeah, that's a lot of hard work. So my son is going to be a preferred walk-on at Purdue, and he's going down May 30th. So that's why I was wondering about if you get any type of summer. I know they get 1 week off around the 4th of July, but since you get done a little earlier than high schoolers, do you guys get off like maybe from May, mid-May, like a week or something in May?
Yeah, so I'm going to get really this next upcoming week after finals. I'm finished this Friday. It's 2 weeks off, but I'm only going to be gone for one because there's still some optional stuff I'm able to come in and do. So, it'll be nice just to get back in the flow of things after a week. And then, yeah, the July one is, I'm pretty sure, mandatory for everybody to be taken off. So,
yeah. So what was the, when you came to Ball State and you're like, okay, here I am, I'm doing this. What was like the biggest adjustment for you?
probably the speed of the game. Everything moves a lot quicker. Just like you go from playing against like high schoolers to men. These are people that have been in college, especially with the COVID years. We got like 6-7 year guys that are like men and
beasts out there.
Man. And it's definitely a thing where like it's going to take some time and there'll be some growing pains, but everyone else will be going through the same thing. The quicker you get adjusted is the quicker you'll make an impact. And I'd say just that adjustment too with like being a grown up now, living on your own too, being responsible for school and stuff, that takes a lot of effort to do. And you're juggling a lot of things. And the quicker you get adjusted, the quicker you'll make stuff easier on yourself. So.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah, that to me is probably what I would think about is just adjusting to life in general is going to be a big adjustment. And then on top of that, you're doing all the football stuff, but you've got some built-in friends, so that's always awesome as well.
Oh yeah.
And they're motivating you. So what motivates you on those days when you're like, man, I am working so hard. I am out here. I'm getting up at 5 a.m. every day. What keeps you going?
I think it's a combination of things. I'd say my faith is probably the biggest thing that's a motivator for me. Just to know that, honestly, that whatever I do and I put out there, like I don't have to worry about it. It's, it's in God's hands, and that what I'm doing is to glorify Him. So I'd say that's my biggest motivator, is just to know like what I'm doing glorifies God. The built-in brotherhood, like you said, when it gets hard, like those are guys that like be the best man at my wedding, like Like I love those dudes. So those are guys that'll hold me accountable. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, but sometimes like I gotta hear it, and they'll be there for you, and those are my brothers for life. So yeah.
That's great. I'm glad
Well,
it's a great
hey,
experience.
kind of exciting that you're joining us on finals week, but since you're a academic all conference player, I guess we don't have anything to worry about there.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
So we're gonna send it over to Bill. He's got the walk-on Warriors segment, and we got two true Ball State walk-on Warriors here. So let's hear about it.
Nice. All right. Been looking forward to this one for quite a while. But my first question to you, Nick, is are you looking forward to running those 16 100s in the glorious Muncie heat?
No, I'm not. But it's got to get done eventually. And like Bill, we talked about it. Like that's a core memory for us Ball State players. Like those 16 110s. It's got to get done. But
I gotta ask: are these back to back, or is it like?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just like boom,
now,
boom, boom.
Okay, so hold on. When I did it, they did it by position, maybe running backs and linebackers, DBs and receivers, and then like linemen, kickers and quarterbacks. Who knows where they went in? But is that how they still do it?
Yeah. So they'll now do skill, mid skill, and bigs.
Okay. There you go.
But yeah, I'm not looking forward to them.
And so big guys, are they struggling or what?
and a lot of people come back from summer struggling, even though they're there mandatory in July. Like there's a time where it's a test. It's a conditioning test, so you've got to pass them. And then I think I told them before is don't pass it, then you're on dawn patrol every morning at 5 or 6 a.m. and you got to go keep doing it until you pass those times. All right, so we had previously been doing a walk-on Warrior workout of the week, but I guess I'll just ask you is what in the past week, what was one of the workouts that you did that you think was effective in getting you ready for the upcoming off season?
Yeah, I've been doing lots of like balance, control work just with on the field, whether that's tennis balls, speed ladders, Osu balls. Just as a receiver, you're put in a lot of like weird positions, whether it's balancing, getting off the line, breaking, being able to adjust to that and have a good center of gravity is super important.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, so that's physical, that's balance. What are you doing mentally? How do you handle the pressure, the moment, and then say it's a big play, and how do you get ready for that next play? What are some of the things you're thinking about there?
I'd say it goes back to my faith again. Trusting in God allows me to play relaxed and just enjoy playing the game. Because in the end, it's not a big deal. And then I'd say visualization is another huge thing for me. Being able to like before practice, before a game, pop my music in, and just like lock in. Look through the plays and visualize myself making plays, making the catch, running the route, and scoring touchdowns.
There you go. Hey, Jeb, I'm going to throw it over to you I know what you were just thinking, but so real quick, what kind of music you popping in when you're visualizing?
Really anything, man. It depends what I need. A little too amped up, I'll play some R&B, some soul, something to calm me down. Or if I need some amping up, I'll play some rock and roll or some rap.
Okay.
There we go.
Used to go with that Ice Cube Natural Born Killers before every single game. This is the last one before I walked out there. But Jeb, what were you thinking there about just a moment ago when he mentioned that, like what Brian may have said to us? I know you're thinking it.
Oh yeah. So, no matter what happens out there, there's 7.5 billion people in this world that don't care whether you caught that ball or not. But, just like your faith, you got your faith, man. That's all that matters. And just keep believing in yourself. It's just football, even though it's some big time football, but it's still just football. So, that's what Brian Neal was saying about
exactly.
Just, the next play, buddy. It doesn't affect what happens in this world. You just keep grinding.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
There you go. All right. I got a couple, hot topic questions for you. All right. So without naming any names or, anything too specific, how has the transfer portal whether it's either the athletes or coaches perhaps leaving because of it, how has that affected team chemistry?
Well, I wouldn't say it affects team chemistry a lot, just because at a program, Ball State, I'm blessed to have a program that has like a rich culture to it, a culture where it preaches family and brotherhood. So, say you take away a piece, whether that's a coach or a teammate, that doesn't change the culture that we already have built in there. I know it does kind of shake up stuff when it comes down to like the nitty gritties of like where stuff may fall depth wise or coaching style wise, like that, because trickle down effect, one thing changes, everything else changes. So you'll see that. But when it comes to brotherhood and relationships, like I know we at Ball State don't have that sort of problem because of the culture we built.
That's good to hear.
Fantastic answer, and I'm glad to hear that.
And can I ask a follow-up to that real quick, Bill? So the transfer portal, there's what, 2 times a year where they can transfer? Is that right? 2 times a year out of football? I believe it's fall and spring.
I'm not.
Do you see a lot of people doing it in the spring?
Yeah.
He doesn't need. I know he doesn't need to do it. I just wonder because you see a lot of people entering that transfer portal like in the winter at the end of fall.
Yeah.
But do you see many people hopping in there at the end of spring? Or to me, I would think not as many. But
yeah,
you haven't noticed.
It really just depends. I guess part of it is like the winter portal seems more active just because that comes off a season. I feel like emotions are still high, so you have a losing season or
people are upset.
Kind of a fallout with the coach. Yeah. That's a time where it tends to get crazy. But I think still the spring is a pretty active spot too, just because it's before the summer, before the new season. Especially like you're coming right off spring ball too, because spring ball really does a lot for the way things fall leading up to the season, because that's where the coaches decide, right, these are the guys we want to roll with. So say you don't fall on that list. I know some guys are like, yeah, I'm not willing to stay here over the summer, wait out and waste another season, so they'll hit the portal and before this new season starts.
Makes sense.
Okay, I got one last question for you other than our final question. Is I did notice several at the spring game. Were they MAC officials, and did they provide any education as far as like what they might be looking for, as far as the emphasis as a rule this coming fall? Did they get into any of that with you all?
Yeah, I'm not sure, whether they were MAC officials or not, but we did talk to them just about, some rules, and a lot of it was safety stuff. Because, again, stuff's changing, what you can and can't do, the way you hit people. And before the season will start, too, the refs will come in and they'll do, like, an updated revision of, the rule book and changes to it. So that's another time where we'll be able to say, all right, this is stuff we can do now, this is stuff we can't do, stuff like that.
All right. Awesome. Jeb, you want to finish us off with this last question?
All right, Nick. So this is our question we ask all our guests. What's your favorite sporting event that you've ever been to as a fan? And then what would be a sporting event that you would want to go to as a fan or as a player? We'll give you that one too.
Okay, so my favorite sporting event I've ever attended was a Seattle Sounders game I went to last year. They played Real Salt Lake, and they have an awesome atmosphere there. And then I'd say, but the dream sporting event would be the World Cup coming up in 2026. To go to that final, that would be pretty cool.
Did they decide it's the final in Texas?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it's in Texas. Yeah, in Dallas, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a cool spot to play in too.
Hey, there's a lot of room, so you might be able to score you a ticket.
Yeah.
That's right. A lot of
awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Nick. I learned a lot. We're going to keep talking, keep communicating, and keep this thing going. And we're just so happy to have you with us this evening. Keep dominating.
You'll have to come back. Definitely come back. Give us some tips. Give us some exercise tips, even for us old people. And we like to use them.
Sorry, Liz. Make sure if there's a link somewhere for any of your gear,
yeah, dude. I need to refresh this. I need to refresh this piece from 1996. I need one of those new Nike lids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You guys.
So
You guys
keep
are awesome.